Welcome back to the channel. It's Wednesday, and tonight we're not starting a new project. We may open up the cat back there. A little bit behind on getting something started to finish in the video, so you're getting the channel update, shop update, project update. If you watched this video last week, appreciate it. And if you are currently bidding on this on eBay, thank you very much. That is just, every bit of the proceeds from this are going right back into the RC10 and into the cat. And they accidentally released, well, they didn't release it, but they accidentally posted a 10T coming out. So I got one of those on the radar. If not, I am going to look for a used one. Really gearing up for that vintage race. It's not till January, so we got all summer. So we got a bearing set for this. Anderson RC did order us the J Concepts wheels and tires. The 1.7s and the 1.9s we're keeping with the traditional size, but we're going to run the more race inspired tires instead of those because the track we'll be racing on will be clay. This car here, if you win it, I didn't do it yet. I'm also trying something different with the microphone. I don't have it on me. I hung it on this other tripod to try to smooth out the sound a little bit. But we're going to go ahead and put our little, not that it means anything, but somebody might want it one day. We'll put our little signature in here. That way you got it when you get it. Can't hardly read that, but there's my scribble. And I want to throw in a couple of stickers. I got the just a little label sticker with the QR code. I'll throw 3 or 4 of those in the box. Again, appreciate anybody that's well, appreciate all the new subscribers, and I appreciate anybody that's watching the videos. And if you want to, we also have memberships. The memberships I've had 8 or 9 consistently for about 8 months now. Appreciate those guys for helping out. Just a few bucks a month, and that money again goes directly into the hobby. Yes, I have a job. I work every day, but also, just like most of y'all, I have adult responsibilities, and they don't leave much on the racing budget or the hobby budget here. So with that, every little bit counts when it comes into building new stuff for the channel, going to new places. We are going to Florida again. That's our annual family vacation. If all goes well, we'll be there in August. And with that, I'm going to take that to the new hobby town that's in Livingston, Tampa. And they have a new clay off-road track that looks pretty cool. So that will be the official running video of that. It's a couple months away. No, we don't have a local indoor track. We do have a carpet off-road. I could possibly run it on that, but it's not very big, and I'd rather take it somewhere. What else is going on? Threw some decals on the Dosec car. We got our old school looking, got our Cam Pro motor, Novak. Novak was the deal back then on brush motors. On the membership video, we did the electronics. Still got to throw a speed control in it, but we did do the receiver, servo, and built put the turnbuckles and the servo saver together. And we're just a matter of cleaning the motor out and possibly running this thing Saturday if we get freed up. So stay tuned for that. As far as updates on the channel, that's pretty much it. We did do that. Sorry about the jerking around, but put up another piece of pegboard there and got some cars off the table to free up some workspace. Although I need to put all my tools up. I got them strewn everywhere. And cleared up a little bit of room. We still got to do the interior on the 3 car and get that shipped out. The 1RCs, we need to go run those sometime. I haven't driven that car but about 3 times in 2.5 years. But that's it for that end of the project. So let's get the cat down. We'll open it up. I have no idea what I'm in store for. I understand those cars are not the easiest to build. And we do have our new shop caddy, which was donated by one of our members and viewers and subscribers, and just happened to be my brother. So we'll be utilizing that on the next two builds because got to build shots. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Still got to finish painting the lunchbox there too. Plus, if we get a free day, we got to run the VRD. But my next few weekends are pretty much covered up. I got a kid graduating high school, and we're having a graduation party here in another week and a half. So let's get the cat out and get it out of the box. All right, I do not have the best camera angles in this little room. I need to be able to spread this thing out so I can get behind the camera, but that's just not the case at this time. Cat. Pro Cat. This is a re-release. This car was originally, I believe, in 1989. When we were running RC10s back in the day, I got my first one in 87 or 88, 87, because I moved to North Carolina in 88, and I had already had it and already converted it to dirt oval. When we were reading RC Car Action magazine back in the day and seeing the Schumacher Cat, that car was pretty much unobtainable, and it came out about the same time as RC10. And then this is a revised version, like I guess the latest and greatest from 1989. It's a little bit longer wheelbase than original Cat. It's got, I believe, a little bit different drivetrain. I don't know a lot of history on these. I just know I always wanted a Schumacher Cat, and this one was so kindly donated for the channel to build from our buddy Chris. He's also a channel member. Like I said, we got to get electronics for this. We got to get some 2.2-inch wheels. We'll go to the JC Racing. We got the JC Racing Yokomo wheels for another project that was planned. I was going to build a Tamiya Boomerang and put Yokomo wheels on it and run it in the classic plastic class. So let's get this thing cracked open and see what we got ahead of us. All right, first things first. We got appears to be shock parts. A little bit of everything. There's turnbuckles, springs, some random two-sided tape, shock cap. See, one shock cap. Okay. Not sure what all's in there, but I'm sure the instructions will let us know. There's your main drive belt. It actually has two drive belts on the diff at the rear, like one for each rear wheel, sort of. And then there's a center belt that goes to the front, make it four-wheel drive. There's your motor mount plate or the gearbox plate. Drive shafts. They do make a tool for that. I might need to look into that. Sway bars. Here is the front bumper. Appears to be a diff. I don't know if it's the front or the rear, but there's a center gear and all the bearings. Some thrust bearings. Some front halves of the front end, I imagine. From what I understand, this car's got like 5 layers in the front, between the chassis, the under tray, the 2 uprights, and then the top deck, and then a belt cover. So it's got a stack of like 5 layers on the car. And there's our shell. Looks pretty cool. Very modern-y looking, a little sweep back for 1989. I'm not going to do box art. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. They did come out with a Masami car, and it was a different body. I'm not going to do a Masami paint scheme on this one, but there's your belt cover for the top deck. Their wheels, I believe these are 2.1 or 2.0. Schumacher tires were the thing back in the day when tracks were actually made out of dirt. and not clay. So these tires do feel like they're a good rubber compound, but those spikes would not do nothing on modern track. It would just be riding on them little tips and just be super loose. Fronts and rears. Fronts are slightly narrower. They already have the foam inserts installed. I don't know if Chris has already opened this or not. I don't think he has. It's got the wax on the tires. We'll have to go back and just soak them in a little bucket of Simple Green, but take the foam out, obviously. And Simple Green to take all that wax off. There is our motor mount. The front drive belt. And some out drives. The belt pulleys for the rear diffs. There's the rear diff. It does come with fluids. We got red lock. We got some 300 CTS, which is 25 weight shock oil, and some 35 weight. So I'm assuming 25 in the rear and 35 in the front. We might go a little heavier in the rear. And I believe that little piece of fiberglass right there might be the tool for building the drive shafts. This is just a speculation, but there are tools in this bag. And there's a little bit of silicone grease for the diff. Yeah, that's pretty much in there. That's your tool bag and fluids. And I do believe that is the slider universals are a little bit tricky to build from what kind of like Traxxas are now, but they look very similar to what Traxxas uses on their old cars. But I believe they were the originators of this stuff. This is in the 80s, before Traxxas. Well, Traxxas was a thing, but it was before Traxxas was doing this stuff. Turnbuckles. I don't know if they're steel or titanium. They look a lot like the titanium ones I've been using on my pan cars. There is, I believe that goes on the front. Yeah, this front end, the front suspension arm. I do believe these are the go on the back side of the wheels, part of the upright. The under tray. Now the under tray has to be painted unless you're going to run it clear, because the very first step building the car, you start with the chassis and you got to build the under tray. So we may go ahead and put I got a few logos that are still cut that I haven't used, and we're going to do our channel logo underneath here. So if this car ever leaves here, it'll at least have our markings on it. There's a rear wing, side dams. More shocks. And these are the old school. These are the bottom load shocks, and they have the clip ring in them. So I did get some clip ring pliers, and that's hard to say fast. To make life a little bit easier, because them things will shoot across the room faster than the E-clip. And speaking of E-clips, there's plenty of those too. To install the pistons, there's 2 E-clips to hold the pistons on. And I don't know if there's any E-clips on the suspension. It might be, some of this stuff might be captured. Yeah, all 4 shocks are in here. I don't know why there were shock caps in that first bag, but kind of divided out. And lastly, almost lastly, is our chassis plate and upper deck. It's all fiberglass, FRP. Relatively stiff for fiberglass. There is a carbon fiber upgrade kit available to change the upper deck, chassis, and everything. I don't know if this car has been retrofitted for lipos or not. I know the Yokomo re-release has battery straps for running modern lipos. This car may. I can't tell exactly, because there's these 2 screws here kind of give me an indication that maybe there's a tray to hold a shorty 2-cell. I guess I should watch other people's videos. This car's been on over a year. And I hadn't done a ton of research on it. Like I said, it was donated to the channel. We're going to race this car also if we do that vintage race. And from what I understand, the original drivetrain is not up to standards for running modern power. They don't recommend anything over 17.5, but they have seen 13.5s and held up well. I think the race that I went to last year, they had 13.5 and 10.5, so we're not going to attempt to run 10.5. They do make an upgraded transmission. It costs about as much as the car. They're anywhere from, depends on where you buy them. I've seen them as low as like 120, and I've seen them up as much as $200 just for the beefed up drivetrain to handle modern power. We don't want to get wild with it and bash it or anything, but it would be nice. We can stand at least 13.5, which, from what I understand, even in their instructions or in one of their videos, they said that they have tested with 13.5 with good results. Window mask for the body. All of your ProCat Schumacher decals. And our instructions manual. And it looks like a blast right there. There's a bunch of pieces. And this is what I was trying to explain at the front. You got a bumper, you got uprights. Well, you got a bumper. Well, first off, you start with, you got a tray, chassis, bumper, upright, upper deck, sway bars, then a belt cover. All that gets sandwiched, and there's like super long. There's a super long screws right there to get through all 5 layers. And this car has the breakaway. I believe it has the breakaway front end. It does. That was some kind of technology they did back in the day when plastics weren't as good as they are now. Those are basically rubber straps or rubber bands in a fancier word. What it does, the front suspension is basically hinged, and if you were to come down off a bad landing or hit a pipe or something, that the rubber bands would allow the front end to swing back and not break an arm off. So a lot of the vintage cars from the 80s, those bands would just dry rot and go away. But it's simply just like a thick O-ring. It's not really a rubber band per se. So that's pretty neat design. And plus the plastics on this car are probably better than they were in the 80s. Plus they're fresh. They're not all dried up. Yeah, there's the Pro transmission upgrade for the Cat. And then there's one for the Cat and the Cat XLS and the Pro Cat. It works on either car, so there's all the individual parts. But I'm not sure what's different. I think it might be the slipper. Yeah, because the original spur gear is held on. They don't have a slipper, and it's held on with an O-ring of all things. And I've seen some reviews on that, and they said it surprisingly works well. So I don't know. Maybe that's just the whole slipper and upper shaft might be the upgrade for the difference between the two. Because a ball diff is a ball diff. I don't know how you'd upgrade that anymore. It's not metal or anything special in there. So, but when you get the upgrade, you get the whole thing. So I'm not sure what is different, honestly. But it definitely has a slipper clutch when the car does not. There's the bottom load shocks. You got a whole stack of O-rings and miscellaneous items there, in that little clip ring that's going to shoot to the moon if you slip. But I heard some people say it's a little confusing. These cars were always known to be a little bit difficult to build. But yeah, here's your first step, is your battery mount. This is running the 6-cell NiCad type thing, but number 1 step, under tray, chassis, and an antenna mount. First step. And it does come with provisions for a shorty pack, and it runs it crossways, so that's good to know. That's what these 2 little T-bone looking pieces right here, that's your LiPo shorty pack hold downers. So yeah, you got to do under tray. Actually, your servo or your receiver antenna mount goes on the chassis. You do all your battery stuff, and then the under tray attaches to the chassis. So first things first, before you even get started, go ahead and paint that under tray if you're going to paint it, so it don't slow you down. Because if you're all gun-ho to build this thing, and you got to stop and paint something, paint usually at the end. And this one, you need to do it before you ever start. So we will get that under tray painted with our logo on it, and that will be step 1. So yeah, that's a crazy looking diff. Looks like a barrel of gears, but it's 3 pulleys. There's a center drive pulley for the front and the 2 outer pulleys for the rear. It appears it's going to go pretty straightforward. You can adjust the tension on the rear belts by positioning the holes. This is like a cam. You can clock it to add tension to the belt. You go from the rear, then you go straight to the upper deck. Upper deck attaches the steering rack to it. And once that's on, you do your belt cover. And there's the sandwich of parts already starting to begin here. Before you even get the front end on, you're putting the sway bar on between the deck and the cover. Then you're going straight to the ball diff for the front. And there's those monster screws that are super long. They go all the way through everything. Bumper, chassis, uprights, upper deck, belt cover. And, okay, it's just got nuts and washers on it, so nothing fancy there, but there's 4 of them, and they have to all line up. And with that, you better drill your holes accordingly on the upper deck on the leg sand. After that, you're pretty much going downhill. You're just putting suspension links, attaching the arms. It appears that the arms are captured. They don't have E-clips in them. Maybe. Maybe not. Yep. It appears they are attached with screws. That's a good thing. And these fancy dust cover uprights, that's pretty cool. Once you put the wheel on, the wheel's just a sandwich. I don't know if it captures dirt behind it, but it's a pretty neat design. And there's our exploded view. Then the fun part. Never been a big fan of building shocks, but here we go. I need a pair of shock pliers. I do need to invest in that. All these years I've never bought a set of shock pliers. I just use side cutters and very, very carefully hold the bottom thread. Turnbuckles. Then you install your servo and your motor and you're ready to go. There's some little ride height and setup tips. There's all the carbon fiber stuff, all the cool stuff. Your link mounts, your battery hold down, your chassis, upper deck. There's that upgraded transmission. Yeah, there's the Pro pulley and the Pro rear pulleys. Evidently they're different. I don't know what. Pro lay shaft. I guess all the gears on it are machined. Alloy transmission housing. I bet that's a little more precision. A rear roll bar, which it does not have in the kit. Alloy trans spacer. I'm sure that was stiffened with the rear good. Titanium turnbuckles is an upgrade. And the molded wing mounts. The wing, from what I understand, is held on with an O-ring too. It's kind of a weird design, but it's like a breakaway, just like the front end. So there you have it. There's more option tires and some setups. There are the bigger wheels right here. Yep, 2.2 JC Racing. They even have JC Racing in the Schumacher catalog, which is pretty cool. JC makes all the modern size wheels for the vintage cars, RC10s, Yokomos, and including the Schumacher. So we will have to order some of those to get some race treads on here. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Trying to get this thing back in the box. Not going to dig into it tonight until I get this table cleaned off. I don't want to get started on something and leave a mess, especially if we try to go racing this weekend. That's not going to leave a lot of time. I don't want to get dug into this until I can get to a good stopping point. So it never goes back to the way you took it out. All right, guys, that's a wrap for today. I know it wasn't much of a video. We got a lot going on behind the scenes. Not just channel related, but just family related. We got a lot of stuff to do for graduation, and we got a couple other things going on. So bear with us. Hobbies always come second. Family comes first. So we will be, if we don't go racing Saturday, we will get this thing rolling. That's my goal. So we got a couple things in mind. I'm not buying any hop-ups for this car right away. We just want to get it built. And the RC10, I am piecing together a few hop-ups because it's the 40th anniversary, but I'm not keeping it original. I am going to run that car. I'm going to enjoy it. That's what it's about. We are going to upgrade, I believe, the steering. I got bearings for it. We got wheels and tires. We got to pick them up. We are going to run modern electronics 21.5. It's going to be running the Heritage class, which is a class for the vintage race this year. Along with this car, not sure what power plant we're going with. No more than 13.5. Just because don't really want to spend the $200 on the upgrade transmission right now. We do have a RC10T in our sights, whether used or new. We got another beach car build. Basically just refreshing the bug. I will be going back for college orientation in a few weeks, and there will be a beach video with that. Probably just be the same old car. Beach videos don't do that great, but I have fun doing it, so I hope somebody enjoys it. I think it's pretty cool. And yeah, there's sand and everything. I've been running that car for 20 years on the beach, so not worried about it. Hopefully things will settle down a little bit in a few weeks, and we'll finish up the Candy custom paint job on the lunchbox, and take 10 minutes to work on the Cricut machine to cut Steve's numbers for his modified so we can get that thing painted and get it back to him. He's been very patient. He's not racing it, but I'm sure he'd like to have his car back. And yeah, always something going on around here. So tune in Sunday, see what we do. Not sure yet. We're racing or building something. So we'll see you then. And hit that subscribe button. If you want, hit that join button while you're at it. And we'll see you then. Thanks.